supposed to have it. That's one thing I do like about WWE. They keep shit a little funky. Hey, you're fucking trash. Bye. You know what I mean? I do like it. I don't mind it. Some people.
And we are live.
We showing up is live. Jobber Nation. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Jobbertears podcast. As always, I'm Janelle from HR. Here with Wilkins and Mrblacc. We are blessed to have such a high guest with us this evening.
Always.
Before we get started, we want to thank who was on Taylor. Miss Taylor for joining us this past Tuesday on the JTP Lounge.
Taylor Mama.
Make sure to check out her show, Black Girl Magic, June 26th, I believe. But for information, you can follow her. And also shout outs to T2T School Wrestling School. So shout out to Tom and his wrestling school for being the best of the best out there. Before we get started, let our esteemed guest introduce himself.
It's your boy Kenneth. I don't need an introduction, man. It's your boy, man. It's your boy Kenneth Stones, aka Kofi Weedston, man. One half of the Dirty Heels, man. I'm here to, you know the name, you know the slogan, man. We here, we in the building, man. That's it, man.
Well, welcome. Tell the viewers a little bit about your podcast. What do you guys do?
Smoke.
We are the Dirty Heels podcast, man. We like to smoke, we drink, but we do entertain the crowd with independent wrestlers. We love independent wrestling. We love independent wrestling, man. That's our niche. So we try to, stick with that. We interview independent wrestlers. We might put out news from here and there about Monday, Tuesday, but we stick with independent wrestling and independent events, man. That's mostly it.
So who has been the without being biased, who's been the best interview on the indie scene you guys had?
That's an interview question for a good brother. I don't interview anyone.
Oh, so why not?
I'm gonna say Danny Limelight.
Okay.
I'm gonna say maybe Danny Limelight was probably our best one so far. I'm not sure, but I'm not an interview person. I don't know. It's not my thing. I just gave it to him. I let him do it. Plus, I don't really have the time sometimes. So,
It's all about knowing the person, your team's strengths and weaknesses. So, no, I understand that. Before we get started, let the viewers and listeners know where to find you guys. I'm going to ask you at the end of the show, but just to get everyone that's watching now to get to know you guys.
Don't worry. All right, you can always find us on YouTube, man. Dirty Heels. Just type in Dirty Heels podcast, man. You find us on IG Dirty Heels _132, man. Just hashtag Dirty Heels everywhere, man. You'll find us, man. That's the easiest way, man.
Very good. Before we get started, how's everyone doing? Anything new? Watching anything? Got anything going on?
Everything's good. I just watched the low key new episode, first episode. It was alright. It was good. I was engaged.
Okay.
It was dope. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think it was out of all three of them, it might have been my favorite first episode.
Why?
I'm not gonna lie. It was a little deeper than the other two.
Huh?
It was a way deeper than the other two. I like that. I might agree with you though. I might agree with you too though, just because of the way the callback from Infinity War.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to watch it, so I'll check it out.
Yeah, definitely. I was like, look, y'all did y'all thing on this one. Y'all made me want to go back and watch Infinity War real quick.
I thought it was dope because of the comic book, the way they actually had the several other comic book characters in it and actually were placed right. The placement of everybody was correct, But I loved it.
Yeah, it was some fly shit. It was some fly shit that they did. So that's what I'm watching. What you watching?
My new favorite show called Run the World is on Stars, and I didn't realize it until one of the managers at my job said it, but it literally is the black version of Sex and the City.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
It absolutely, and it wasn't until he said it, and I was like, oh my god, that's probably why I love the show. But it's basically about 4 women in Harlem living their lives. So it's just very relatable. So I'm just like, all right, I'm tuned in. So it's every Sunday. So and it's on Stars. So I have Stars on my Amazon Prime. So that's how I watch it. What about you, Mr. Black? What are you watching?
All of us. That's it. Playing video games. That's it. I live a boring life. So
that's not boring. You doing something. So wait, Kenneth, you want us to call you Kenneth, Kofi,
that's disrespectful. Like how you call this whole government? It's we Kofi Wilkins right there.
Believe it or not, Kenneth's not my government either. No one will ever know my government unless you're like super tight with me.
And you know what? That's fine. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, you can call me Kofi. You can call me Kofi. Kenneth, it doesn't matter.
Okay, cool. You watching anything? What's going on in your world?
I watch anime all day.
Oh, okay.
Did you see last episode of My Hero?
I do not watch My Hero. I kind of personally hate that anime.
Oh.
I just think that anime sucks. I think Deku's a crap because it's too much crying, too much little kids. It's not a real anime. Then they do all of this with school stuff, and they're in school training for so long, and then they finally get to a hero. They can't beat the guys, and someone else. Too much, too long.
Nah, fam. You haven't been watching it, man.
I've watched up right now to the 5th episode of this season, and I'm just like, I'm not even feeling it. They're still in school, man. They're not fighting anybody dope yet.
Yeah. What? Yo. Yo, nah, man.
I watch movies and fast forward just to get to the action.
Wait, so that defeats the purpose.
Thank you.
Like you don't go to the movies.
Thank you.
Yo, I can't go to the movies because I don't have the patience for the long dialogue.
Wow.
I do not. I will fast forward any movie I watch. And if I can't fast forward, I'd walk out for a while.
Wow. So how do you watch wrestling?
I usually don't watch wrestling. I watch highlights. Highlights. Fastest thing I can do. Highlights.
So
I'll sit there and watch NXT. I'll watch.
And we'll talk about that today. Okay. Yeah. All right. Because I was about to say, how do y'all function? You can't just fast forward everything.
Good brother watches all of the wrestling.
So he does all the work, and you just show up.
That's it. I tell people this all the time. I'm nothing but mostly financial support.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that either.
That's it, man. I love wrestling. Don't get me wrong. I just don't have what Good Brother has. I grew up on it, but I grew up in a different kind of era from him. So like, it didn't rub off on me the way it rubbed off on him. You know, I'm more of a battle rap, hang in the streets type of guy, man. You know, I'm more listening to rap all the time.
Who's your favorite rapper right now?
Right now? Oh, man, you know, right now, this personal time, I'm not listening to any rap. So I cannot give you, I'm not. Right now, I'm listening to Funkadelics. I listen to old school music, man, right now. At this point in time, last 2 years, I'm only listening to old school.
Right now, you're in the 70s and 80s? That's what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay.
Right now, I'm in the 70s, 80s. This is real talk, yo. If you go to my playlist, I'm only listening to that right now.
You know what? I was on an 80s, 90s R&B trip.
That is true.
Yo, that is true. I actually fast forwarded. I will fast forward it. I kid you not. I'll fast forward this shit, man.
Wait. My question is this: how the hell you watch TV back in the day?
Yo, I didn't have TV back in the day, man. I grew up down south. We had one TV in the house, man. It was either you was in the house or you was outside. And we was outside.
That's a different lifestyle, yeah.
That is.
That was it. I stopped watching wrestling like at 12.
So then when did you get back into watching clips? Because clearly you don't watch the whole shit.
I got back into watching it when I met Good Brother. You know, he would actually, like, we would watch battle rap all the time, and then he would just come in the crib like, well, turn this shit off, man. Wrestling is on. And this is no talk. We would come and we would respect this shit, and we would start just watching it. And then it got me back into it. It was around when the Shield first broke up.
Oh, when Seth pulled the okie doke.
Yeah, that's the night I first started watching it back.
Oh, that's a hell of a night. Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit, what's going on? So it kind of was like, all right, I'll pay attention.
So favorite wrestler of all time. Now I'm intrigued because I'm like, okay, you don't watch shit in full.
Chris Jericho.
Okay.
Chris Jericho. I just love the.
What's your favorite era of Jericho? Because he has a few.
I definitely love watching Jay. I love the 1,000 Moves of Jericho era, the Lion Tail. I'm not gonna lie, I really like them all, man. I just think the way he revamped himself every single time, man, is different and cool, man. You know, it's always something to like. I've always been a Jericho fan. It's always been, I've just always been able to watch him.
Okay.
You know, out of all the wrestlers, you know, Good Brother, he more like. He'll give you like Art Anderson or somebody.
Absolutely.
That's him. He likes Art Anderson and Tully and all of those guys. He's a real.
You know what? He all right. Even though he gave me a hard time, he all right.
That's everybody. He does that to everybody.
No, I don't care though. But
that's Good Brother.
He get a pass though.
It's love. It's love.
I know it is. All right, so let's get into this week's. Let's talk about. We got a few things talking about. We got NXT in your house, which in all actuality, the card is phenomenal. It came together really, I feel like fast, but it's actually well put together. So we'll get into talking about predictions and talking about that because that is this weekend. No, we will not have a viewing party this weekend. We're taking the Sunday off because some people somebody had DMV was like, so Legends on Sunday. And I was like, no. And they're like, but why? Because we have lives. We have other things we can do.
And y'all, I'm not gonna lie, y'all party, man. HR, you party?
No, not I.
Listen, one of y'all three party, man. I know it.
That's
I know it. I know it, man. I know it.
I'm gonna be outside on Sunday, so it's okay.
How many times that you see on Facebook in a city, in somebody's bar,
I don't know how she does it.
I could be chilled.
It's the traveling. How do you do it? The traveling. You don't get like
tired
of traveling?
No. You never get tired of, and you know what? And that's the beauty, I think, a part of wrestling for me is I've been able to meet different people from all parts of the country because of wrestling. I've been able to see different styles of wrestling in different parts of the country. Like it's always been hand in hand, but I love it. I don't like sitting down for once. So
you're impatient too, so it's okay.
Smidge. But all right, what do you guys want to talk about first? You want to jump into Wilkins? What did you mention earlier today about
Triple H comments?
So what was the comments he said? I wasn't
hold on.
Hip to wrestling this week.
You said it today, actually.
Oh, okay. The only thing I knew was Trips' face in that segment on NXT this week, and I was just like, this guy. He's messy. Just like
Reed didn't know what was going on.
He's actually said a couple of things.
Okay, so let's talk. So bring it up.
First thing he said, he was on a conference call about NXT, and he said first things first. He noted that fans often ruined their own stuff by overanalyzing the product. The fans ruin their own stuff half the time, trying to figure out where everything goes and why it's going there, and then try to pick up their phone and go search for things to find out what it is, and can ruin it for them. So they're not surprised when it happens. I don't understand. I'm thrilled with what the brand is. I'm happy where it's at. Do I want it to be better? Yes. Do I want it to grow? Yes. And do I want it to expand? Yes. But again, people will take this line, use it out of context. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I'm not here to make a brand that's around for a few years or a few minutes. I want it to be long term, and it's how's it going and how's it going to be learned long term? It's going to morph and evolve. It shouldn't be the same. If it's the same 3 years from now or 4 years from now as it is right now, we made a mistake. It's just like people, you grow. If you're the same person 4 years from now, you didn't grow. So that was his comment about fans, and then he also said something about women too.
Oh, what he said?
So they had asked him about women's wrestling and like, because Triple H was asked whether WWE would do an all women's wrestling show and whether NXT talent would be allowed to participate in an all women's wrestling show being put together by Mickie James and the NWA. But the game brushed off the question, explained what equality should mean to women talent, and pointed out that he would get canceled if he tried to make an all men's wrestling show. His exact quote was, the transcript was, "Haven't we already done them?" It's a funny thing to me. Equality is equality. Equality is not, I want my own show. Equality is not, we have to have our own program. If I told you I was making an all men's program and didn't want women on it, it would be criticized. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I think it's funny when people go, I want the best in the world, regardless of contractual status. From a business standpoint, why do we have contracts? It doesn't make any sense. If you want to wrestle the best women in the world, come to WWE. That's where they are.
Oh, that's a statement.
If you want to go elsewhere and see that they are, that's an opinion, and you can. And I'm all for it, and I'm one of the biggest drivers of it. Will we do another all women's event down the line? Possibly, but it's not a must-have at the moment. I think we do an amazing job of displaying our female athletes. Is it perfect? No. Will it always be in flux? Yes. But we do it pretty good job. In my opinion, the best female performers in the world are in WWE, and they are not anywhere else.
All right, Trips. So we got to break this down a little bit. But first question, because I mean, he brought up equality, and I think it's something that, continuously is always brought up, even outside of wrestling. So first question to you guys would be, what is your definition of equality in wrestling? I mean, I think it's a very valid point he made where it's like people talk about equality, but then want their own instead of it just being equal in a sense. It's that whole separate but equal kind of concept. So what do you guys think equality means? Like, how do you guys vision equality in wrestling?
I say this. I listened to a podcast a couple of months ago. It's called Ear Hustle, and it was some guy who came out of jail, and he gave this definition of equality, and I agree with it. He said true equality is when you don't hire a bunch of Wayne Brady's and says this is equality. You hire a guy who may be like Wayne Brady. You hire a guy that may be like Snoop Dogg. Different kind of shades of people. True equality, and to me, is when you can hire people who's full of tattoos and it's okay. True equality is when you hire different kind of black women, the straight hair, the nappy hair. I'm not even nappy hair, the more natural hair, the more crazy hair, or probably no hair. True equality in wrestling, since we talk about wrestling, is when I turn on the television screen and I see 4 different body shapes for women. True equality to me in wrestling is where I see different kind of men, tall, short, whatever. But the problem is wrestling is a lot of people are stuck in this mindset where if you don't look like this, you're not intimidating. If you don't look like this, I don't want you on my screen. How many times that Kevin Owens get criticized for his weight? How many times he get it from these old timers saying that Kevin Owens, I don't believe that he could beat anybody. But yet, in real life, how many times they say never underestimate nobody? So people always talk about I want my wrestling to be more real again, but yet in real life you have a different whole ideology. When wrestling starts to reflect real life, people complain all the time. Come on, how many times have people made a big deal because they saw Nia Jax on screen as a big girl? Or how many times that when they hired that girl, they brought up these old tweets talking about, oh, she's sexist, she's racist. I'm looking like she's joking. She's a comedian. If you understand that culture, you understand that you don't take that too seriously. Listen, like I said in the group chat, yo, you won't get offended if your dick ain't trash. You feel me? And how many times have we made jokes during that time frame when people said, yo, if you feel bad for your white guilt, blah, blah, blah. It clearly was a joke. True equality is when I could turn on a screen and every match is a different kind of body shape, color, and everything. And it won't be a hassle. It won't be such a big deal if we have a black champion. It won't be such a big deal if we have an Asian champion or someone else like somebody from the Middle East. Once we try to change the agenda, it's pushback. So it's much how much equality we could do because the fan don't want it. Let's be serious here. They don't.
I'm gonna go real quick and real short. I think equality is basically not reading about a book by its cover, just letting it is what it is, saying you like these people because you like these people, not because of the way they look and not what they're gonna bring you to the table. You like them because of who they are. You know what I'm saying? In wrestling, there's a lot of business and politics behind it. So, you can't really say what is and what's not equality, because then if you do bring in these people, they're going to be like, well, I don't like that. And then it's always fans and people. So, for me, I would just, like Black said, I would just like to turn my TV on and see 4 different body shapes of people. I would like to see the little guy actually beat up the big guy. You know what I mean? I would like it to be realistic for me. You know what I mean? Make it a little bit realistic, believable. And maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
A lot of people make a big deal if Rey Mysterio beat Big Show, but yet in real life, I seen dudes way shorter than me knocking out dudes like 6'3". People will tell those stories among their friends, but when it's seen in wrestling, it's fake. Come on, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
All right. So Wilkins.
So equality is what gentlemen have said about it, but we also gotta dive a little deeper into this. Triple H needs to read the room. You can't be saying lines like that as a 50-year-old white guy.
He's 50?
50, whatever he is.
He's in his upper 40s because they all are like him.
44.
44.
Christian, they all in that
mid 40s white dude who works in corporate America talking about what equality is and giving you the definition of that. You can't be doing that. You got to read the room. You got to be a whole lot smarter than doing that. He kind of pulled a Cody low key, without pulling a Cody.
I was gonna say it, but I didn't want to say it.
So why not say what you want to say?
Yeah, but it's one of those situations where you're like, my dude, like, nah, that wasn't it.
He thought he hit it too. He was like, yeah, I hit that, right, Stephanie?
Yeah. So it wasn't it. Like, yo, you shouldn't have answered it that way. What he should have said is that we have done equality in NXT, because it's particularly talking about that brand. And for the most part, there are different shades of women that wrestle in NXT, different sizes in NXT. Look at Raquel Gonzalez. She's not your stereotypical teeny bopper looking type of woman, like, blonde hair, blue eyes, type of thing.
She's a brick house.
Yeah, and they have different types of women, especially Asian women, like dominate down there in NXT. Look at Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler doesn't even look like. Shayna Baszler is a lesbian, hard-nosed, like
hard face.
I didn't know the girl was a lesbian. I really didn't care.
Like, they are portraying that, but he didn't have to say it in that type of way, because they are portraying equality. I'm kind of going to jump ahead a little bit, Janelle, where his comment about the women's thing, about, she was like, if I put on all women's show, all men's show, y'all going to be tight?
They did! Mad times!
That's how WWE was created.
I mean, that's essentially like was
wrestling
in the beginning. It was all
WrestleMania 1, 2, 3, 4, you name it.
Yeah, like the Saudi show was all men. And then they did,
but that wasn't on them though.
It wasn't on them, but then that's why they did the women's show, in my opinion. Evolution, because they wanted to give women a whole show.
Which was a fair trade when you think about it. It was a fair trade,
but then the thing is, one, you got to read the room. Number two, use a white dude, middle-aged white dude talking about how equality should be. Bro, you coming off weird. You coming off weird. It's weirdo behavior. And Triple H is too good as a heel This shit just natural to him now. So he just wanted to wake up and choose violence on this phone call. But but to get to my point, you need to show some type of compassion, passion for the sport instead of coming off with your ego. Because that's how he came off during this call. And that's from what I saw, the transcripts, and I'm hearing people who were on the call, it came off like on some real arrogant shit. And I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at it. The one thing I will say, if I work for a company and it's paying me well, or I'm owning a company, I run something, I'm going to say it's the best. And people were getting mad at him saying that, but why?
Yeah, because it was the same people that got upset when Seth said it. When Seth was like, "I work for the best company in the world." That's your job.
That's your job. You take pride in that shit, and people don't like that. I didn't think it was a problem with that, but him kind of brushing off the whole all-woman show, it was a little like, yo, you could have you're media trained, Triple H. You could have worded that a whole lot differently.
And what's going to happen to him? Nothing.
Huh? Nothing.
Nothing's going to happen to him.
But the one thing I will say is everybody that's complaining online about that, Mickie James is doing an all-women show for NWA.
You're not going to support it.
So, but the thing is, though, is that most people don't. They like we've always said, people stay in this bubble. And there are so many other promotions that are doing like women-based things that if that's your cup of tea, you have that ability to enjoy that. Like, for instance, ROH is doing a whole all-summer women's tournament to crown their new ROH Women's Champion. Like, they have that going. Like, Mickey's doing the show in St. Louis for NWA. Like, there's so many different things. It's like being at Ben and fucking Jerry's. It's like you have so many different flavors.
It's easy to complain, like Kofi, Mr. Weedston. How many predominantly women's shows you've gone on in the Indies in the Northeast? A ton.
This is gonna be my first one.
But you've gone to shows where it's a lot of women wrestlers on the card, right?
Yes, I have.
But the thing is,
I'm gonna say there's usually 2 matches.
Yeah.
Out of like 10, there's usually 2.
But you get a fair share, and how they look different types of bodies, right? Yeah,
usually in the Indies you see, yeah. Well, you know what? Atlantic City, it was a whole lot of women, so I cannot even say that. I have, but they're all different shape sizes, always on the indie market. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing about it is, this goes back to people living in a bubble, like Janelle says. WWE literally have brainwashed a lot of viewers throughout the years because they labels the indies as trash. Fun fact, WWE Raw, the first couple of episodes was recorded. First couple of episodes for a while was recorded in high school gyms, auditoriums. So it wasn't as flashy as what it took up into that level. But the reason why I brought all that up because a lot of people are trained to hate the indies. And until
I don't think so.
Listen, wait.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say this. Like, a lot of people are trained to hate the indies. I was about to say, until they go to indies for themselves, they realize, oh, this is lit. That's the thing. They have to go experience it themselves. But WWE had trained that if you came from the indies, it's no good. So people are not going to seek out these wrestling unless their mans put them on. But sometimes if your bubble is not into anything else but WWE, what's on television, and they tell you on television, this is trash, come on. Let's be serious here.
Yeah, that's true.
Nah, but the thing about it, I don't think WWE says it's trash, though. I don't think they do that. It's because a lot of NXT people are from the indies. A lot of people, majority of the roster of WWE is from the indies.
They don't Evolve.
Yeah, they don't acknowledge the indies like that. But I also think it's because I don't think they train them that. I think it's more if you're used to a certain type of production level, it's hard for you to watch an independent show on TV.
1,001%. But then again, how come the infamous line when they throw it at somebody, yo, go back to these high school gyms as an insult? Not one time they said, yo, man, as like now they're trying to do it recently to Drew McIntyre, add character. But before, yo, go back to the indies to wrestle high school gyms and all of that. Come on. Now all suddenly it's cool. Only other and the promotion they ever acknowledge because they try to work with them for many years. I noticed that is New Japan. Outside of that, come on, dogs.
But New Japan is not the Indies though.
I said other promotions, other promotion that they acknowledge heavy to give that props to. The Indies, they always use that as a diss. The Miz.
I think for me personally, I just think WWE normalized wrestling. They put it in your face, they normalized it. So where everybody knows WWE when they think of wrestling. Yeah. Now, when you think of indie wrestling, you think of gyms and gymnasiums and this that, and the other. So I think WWE's put a stigmata on independent wrestling. You know, just because they've done all of this on television. So now when people see these little shows, they're like, oh, that's really? It's WWE. Why? You know, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, right? Because it's that old Jay-Z line. You got used to eating filet mignon, now you're going to hamburger helper?
Exactly.
Food is food, dog. Stay humble.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, there are fans that have been like WWE fans, they moms and WWE fans, they grandma, you know what I'm saying? And then you can't stop something people from just stop watching. You know what I'm saying? Some people just won't stop. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if it's good or bad.
I think at certain times, though, it's all about like you having the willingness to step out of your comfort zone too. Like I think for us, especially like for us, like in the beginning, like we weren't as indie heavy, but then like, you know, people that we knew, shows that we researched, so like you have to, it goes back to actually the second part of the question I wanted to ask you guys, what Triple H has said in the beginning of the quote you read, Sir Wilkins, was does us as fans ruin the product for ourselves? Because I think he made a valid point when he's just like, people that research and do all this other stuff, like granted we do for podcast purposes, but like for most parts I don't read rumors, I don't look at certain things, I don't read certain things because I still like that. We talked about that I think last week, that mystique in wrestling that sometimes can get lost. So do you guys think we ruin wrestling for ourselves?
I think I say this every week to good brother. A lot of fans ruin wrestling because they just want stuff too fast and they're always looking up stuff. And being that you're always looking up stuff, you're going to spoil stuff for yourself. That's like watching a movie from the end. You know what I'm saying? Like,
says the guy that doesn't watch the movie throughout
the regular speed.
That's because I predicted all, baby. I predicted it all.
But that's what's fucking up the wrestling culture. Is because everybody now is at this level where you're sitting and now you're putting yourself in the position of the booker, and it's just like, can you just be the fan?
True. Yeah. So now, like when I do watch wrestling, I do my best not to complain. I always try to come out with something that I'm like, all right, this was dope. Let's talk about how dope it was, though. Like you can always find something that was okay. I think that's the biggest problem. A lot of fans are just wanting stuff too fast, or they want these people to fight this people. Like, yo, let's just relax and get what we can take right now. You know, that's how just my little opinion. You know, but I'm not saying Triple H is wrong though.
Yeah. My opinion is like my brother posted this. They said in the group chat mad times, and it's true. People have a whole podcast talking about how they should book something. And when they don't book it the way that they say it's going to book it, WWE's trash, AEW trash, AWA is trash. And they'll sit down there and said they should have did this, that, and third, and not think of the tangible stuff. Like, hey, example, let's say it's Seth Rollins and Cesaro, right? Let's say that they don't work with each other because behind closed doors, there's actual beef. Like Cesaro took one of Seth Rollins' holes on the road, and now they tight. And now when they get the rings, like, yo, it's kind of tension right now. We can't do this right now. So everybody just wants everybody like one thing. It kind of goes back to comic books, anime too. It's all in that bubble where people watch Dragon Ball Z and complain like Super. Oh, the power scales is not this way, blah, blah, blah. I don't understand why the storyline. Then I had to realize to sit down and say this, like, yo, it's come from somebody's mind. At any point, they could say this is true and that is true. There's no concrete fact. Like in sports, for example, shout out to Leo Rush and said this last year. Shout out to that king. I hope he was unsuccessful after his wrestling career. He says it. It says when you're in sports and you play like Kofi, like you play sports. when you're the best person, you're gonna get play. In wrestling, when you could be the best person at everything. Just because the booker don't bang with you, you get no play. And what will happen? You're in the worst storylines. I'm saying all this to say this. You cannot get mad if somebody feel like this is the direction they want to go. Don't get mad. If you feel like you do a better job, be like Tony Khan and start your own wrestling company. Be like Joe Kim and start your own. But people don't put their mouth with it. Don't do that. They go WWE, go to universe mode. This is my universe. Then do that. So I definitely agree with you. Like, enjoy wrestling for what it is. Yes. Sometimes I'll sit down and watch Raw. It says, oh my God, I can't watch this. But then as I'm learning, like, okay, I'm happy to see more people on screen. The fact that The Miz is in somewhat evolving WWE with that. Now, his clip went viral low-key when he was almost in slow motion going down. I see that as, dang, Miz opened the door for other people to do stuff while they're injured. Bigger picture. So you're right. And I agree with Triple H. We don't enjoy wrestling for what it is. And Triple H been in business forever. He probably seen it all. So imagine if Triple H had a plan for like somebody and then people ruin this so that, no, she go this way, and that person just feel like, dang, son, I should listen to the fan and get big-headed and ruin his own push. Drink his own Kool-Aid. So that's all I got to say. What you got to say, Wilkes? I do agree with Triple H. Let me put my dad hat on.
When it comes to fans, you can look at it both ways. Do they ruin the sport by saying certain things? Yeah. But you're not doing your job if your name is not in all the fans' mouths.
Let's go with you.
If they're not constantly talking about it, good, bad, or indifferent. Wrestling is different from an average sport because it's a predetermined thing. It's an art. It's somewhat of an art forms, and it's something that we listen, we watch, but it's so objective that you can have debates, you can have conversations. You know what I mean? And do wrestlers, do fans do too much? Yeah, of course they do, because it's when they dig too deep. There's a line that when it goes way too deep. I remember I posted that I didn't know that Earl Hebner was robbing WWE at one time.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, but let me get to the point where I was like, I didn't know that. And somebody was like, yo, how did you not know that? I was like, well, I just started reading dirt sheets like about 3-4 years ago because I just watched wrestling. I'm invested in the characters. I'm invested in like what they're doing. Will I have an opinion? Yes, because I'm entitled to have an opinion. But when you get too deep into something and you get way too obsessed with it, that's when you start ruining it because you're not thinking clearly. It's like a chick that's in love with you, but she's crazy.
Or a nigga that's in love with you that's crazy.
Yeah, and then it's like
I don't date men, so I don't know.
They're not thinking clearly.
I don't date female, so that's why I had to say that.
I see what you did there.
Thank you.
But they're not thinking clearly. You know what I mean? You become toxically obsessive. And that's where some wrestling fans are at. When you there's a healthy thing of digging deep, learning about new things, and not letting you rule. Because I remember I always talk about this. My goddaughter's grandfather. I watch wrestling.
I remember that.
I'll go over to his crib, watch wrestling with him, and sometimes he'll be like, "Yo, Roman Reigns is so mean to his cousin. What's going on with that?"
I like that, yeah.
And it's nothing about. Oh, yo, I heard Roman is leaving. He has 2 years on his contract. What's going on with Jimmy Uso? He needs to be. It's just like they're just watching it.
Just
and
genuinely enjoy.
But the thing about it, we can criticize stuff like the way movie critics criticize things because they just watch the movie for what it is. We as wrestling fans go into such a deeper thing where it's like you're being ridiculous now.
I'm gonna ask you guys a question when you're done.
You're rebooking shit. If you don't agree with it, it's the same thing. I thought Wonder Woman was trash.
Oh, I liked it.
And that's fine.
We can talk about us not liking it. But the thing about it, I love Fast and the Furious. Those
Ooh,
shits
which one, dogs?
all of them.
Oh my god, yo, my nigga, they're going to
crazy?
space for the next one. B.
I don't really, out of all of them, the first one is like really like subpar compared to like I feel like they just kept going up and up. So the first one, I
think part 2 is my favorite.
So
part 2 was fire. Part 2 was fire. But you see, we're watching it for what it is, and then even if you want something more sophisticated, you'll be like, yo, I don't like this. Like to somebody watch New Japan, like y'all want to watch New Japan. It's different thing. I enjoy the debate, but we got to understand that there's a line that we got to like not always go over that.
People forget the word entertainment. So I think at times you don't get to enjoy certain things because you're overanalyzing, you overthink things, and you, like I said in the beginning, you put yourself in the booker's position when you're not really the booker and you don't know how hard that shit is. So I think as fans, sometimes it's good to have those, like for instance, and we can talk about, we'll talk about Raw a little bit, but that whole, because I barely watched it, but I caught the ending and I was just like, oh shit, like Shayna was scared.
Yeah,
like nah.
Something
like
new.
Yeah, so like people were criticizing it was like, oh, that was trash, and I was just saying there like they had fucking Shayna Baszler run for her life. Like it was a horror movie. Like I thought
Adding
I was watching
layers to
I thought I was watching some Jason shit. I was like, yo, this bitch is scared, low key.
But it's okay for you to like it and somebody else to not like
Correct,
it. So then
yeah.
you have a conversation about it and just talk about it. But then don't say that like Vince McMahon needs to die.
Yeah, absolutely.
Son, yo.
When you know you're gonna be the first one in line to go see that body.
It's a little too much.
I'm gonna say like I'm gonna say this. I'm actually got a general question. Like honestly, don't get me wrong. My brother thinks that Sting is trash, right? He don't think it's trash. He just thinks Sting is
overrated. That's the
overrated, right? Listen, in show, it's cool to go debate because we gotta get these hits on. Let's be serious here. But once the camera go off, I say this way. All right, you know what? You don't think that Sting is that good. Whatever, cool. Some people might think that D'Lo Brown is trash. That's your opinion. That's okay if you think D'Lo Brown is trash, but D'Lo Brown is still my top. I got a question for all of y'all. You know how in sports where it's easy to measure who's the best, right? Because it's all about how good you are, how much you practice, blah, 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 blah. My question is this. How can you determine someone is the best in wrestling where it's solely based on opinion? Example, a lot of people said that Mr. Perfect was that dude in wrestling. I seen his matches. I love Mr. Perfect, but yet he was never WWE champion. So to some people might think that Brett may be better because he won championship. But again, so that's the example I give. Like, how can people be the best in wrestling if it's solely based on opinion? And
but I'll tell you this real quick.
I'm asking, yeah.
But I'll tell you this real quick. Nobody can determine the best of any sport. People still debating who's the best, huh?
Except for basketball, we know.
No, but you see. But we can have a debate where you could be like, who do you think is the best in basketball right now?
Jordan, of course.
But somebody will say LeBron.
Then I would have to pick up something and end the debate. There is no reason LeBron. You know, no, I'm just joking. But that is right, though. You are right.
But you see what I mean, though, where it's like nothing is set in stone. Not in any sport, because some people will say Tom Brady's the best football player, is the best quarterback of all time because of his how many rings. But then some people will argue Joe Montana.
But I think in terms of for sports, especially like football and basketball and baseball, like I think when you involve the numeric and the data side of it,
yeah,
then you can arguably say this person is better than this person.
You can say that, but I can still argue with you against it and be like, yo,
you can argue against a fact. Like if somebody averages 26 points versus 18 points.
But that person that has 18 points has 5 rings. The person that has 26 has none.
But you're right. But now basketball is also going deeper in numbers because it's all about the plus minus. Yes.
But then also,
wait. Hold
on. Somebody averages 26 points, three assists, and 3 rebounds.
Man,
but then the 18 points is averaging 18.5, 10 rebounds, and like 8 assists. who's the better person.
Well, which category is the one that trumps each other?
You can argue with anyone,
but then again, it's a little bit more. You go down to nuances because
more of an opinion thing, though.
Right?
Yeah.
Regardless, it's still an opinion.
Yeah, but I get that. But it's also like you also have numbers to back it up. Like for example, if I had 18, 10, and 5, right? How effective was I with the team? Where was it like? Did it like contribute to the winning culture? Because there's some people average all of that, but then they're not winning. Empty stats is not winning. Where a guy can average 23, 6 assists, and 7 rebounds, and he's adding to the culture where his plus minus is a lot better. He's not staffing sheets. Someone is eating off of that. So with sports, I agree with you.
You don't know.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question before we veer off way too far. So does the belt have nothing to do with being the best? Is it a record that you need to consider as to be the best, or is it a title? How many title reigns you consider yourself to be the best? Like, what do you consider in wrestling as being the best?
I say for me is it's cool. Like people will say this person the best, whatever. But it all goes back to, let's be serious. Wrestling is entertainment. You know, we all can acknowledge Jay-Z's like some people might prefer Nas over Jay-Z, and that's fine. That's just preference, how that person make you feel. So in wrestling, it's all about, yes, Janelle loves Ric Flair. He has 16 championships, right? But that 16 hit Janelle a lot harder. But when I think of somebody who's my personal favorite is, look, I love John Cena. He don't have 16, but each of a championship reign, I was there to watch all of them because it hit different. I was there when he first won it. I was there when he lost to RVD and a one night stand. I was there when he buried the Nexus stuff. I was there for each and every time he won a championship. So it hit harder. Just like when these young cats would say, "Oh, my GOAT is Juice WRLD," or whatever, right? I'm like, okay, I get that. You know, you can't get mad at that if they think Nas is trash. We grew up with the Nas. We grew up with the Jay-Z. So it hit a lot harder. So for me, is your GOAT to your GOAT, it's all about what era you grew up in. So
that's definitely valid.
Like, I think anyone GOATs could just go from people to people. That's just entertainment in general. Just like even with cell phones, you know, some people might feel like, oh, the Sidekick, to us, Sidekick's legendary, dogs. Come on, B. We've been through
Nextel.
You see?
Yeah.
Nextel. Legendary.
Blackberry.
Exactly. Blackberry. Boom. That's our eras of like, dang, son. But these new kids looking like, nigga, you had a site. Like, what the hell? Nigga, it's not touchscreen. That's doo-doo. That's fine.
Nah, but I got to flip my shit over, so that shit.
The Sidekick with the one hand?
And the Sidekick XL, which was slimmer and sleek. But to answer your question, but to answer your question, I mean, in wrestling, it really depends on the person. Some people look at the winning of belts and those type of moments is your criteria for being the best and the GOAT. And then you have some people that, like, for me, wins and losses, that's not how I look at. Brock is not true. Oh, yeah, this person has.
Oh, Tina's not. That's not Tina.
But I've never been to on the whole wins and losses, because in wrestling and in the bigger picture in the story, sometimes the loss is actually greater than the win, because then when the comeback actually happens, then that outweighs then it all makes sense. So it's hard to kind of have a criteria in a sense for wrestling in terms of who's the GOAT, because once again, everything is debatable. It's an opinion based. Who I think is great, they may not think is great, and vice versa. So it really is more of a personal, what's your ideal? When you look at it, what's your best? Because to me, when he mentioned Rick to me is definitely one of the GOATs, but I just think it's not only the wins and losses, it's not only the belts, but I'm talking about storylines, I'm talking about promos, I'm talking about just the overall character. So really is more of a personal, how do you view what the best is?
The best is, I'm with Janelle on that one. It's overall, but you also got to throw in how over somebody is.
How does the crowd react? Do they react?
How does the crowd react?
How do they pop? You know,
in both ways. I remember we were speaking about Saudi shows and earlier. Y'all remember when Randy came out to one of the first Saudi
They
shows?
fucking popped for him.
Crazy.
And they went crazy for Randy.
Went ape shit for Randall.
Like that's just an example of how great of your greatness. Because at the end of the day, we can debate back and forth, and then you know all the accolades, all the in-ring ability, promos and shit like that. What kind of pop you get? What kind of pop are you getting? What kind of pop are you getting, and how are we connecting with the crowd? Because they always say like your moves are cool, but you connecting? You know what I mean?
Because that's always the one thing, especially on the indie scene. It's one of the things that I always look for is like, how does the crowd react to you? Like, if you're the bad guy, are they really booing you? Yeah. Or if you're the good guy and you're supposed to win, how is that pop when you get the 3 count? Like, I feel like on the indies, it's a little easier to kind of just look and not have that pressure of like picking a GOAT, but just actually and just enjoying the product for what it is in that moment and what's going on.
Yeah,
but you're right, because it's just
I'm okay with the conversations though.
Yo, but you're right though. But you're right though. Like, you talk about how people connect to people connect to the audience. Like, everybody knows my favorite wrestler is Darby Allin, and I knew nothing about Darby Allin, nothing. And I realized I started liking a little bit more each and every week because I felt that he didn't have to talk, but his sense of style of desperation in the ring that drew you in. Like, okay, what he's gonna do. And the one moment, it was 2 moments, I feel like, yo, this man's connected to everybody. That really set him over the edge. Is when he was fighting the Inner Circle. Mox got jumped backstage, flipped the nigga. Next thing you know, messing him up. Sammy got the hot tag. Next you know, this dude crawled to his corner, stood up, hot tag, beat up everybody. That's why I'm like, he's connected to the crowd just a little bit, because he's what his generation represents of, we ain't quitting. I don't care if the odds against me, it be 20 against 1. I'm fighting all y'all niggas because I am that tough. If I lose, at least I know that I stood up to everybody. And that to me is connected to a crowd without even having to do the most fanciest move, the little stuff. And when he was getting beat up by Mero, and then he was reaching out to his daddy Sting, and Sting was just like, man, I'm proud of you anyway. Gave him a pound and he got beat. Connecting to the crowd without doing much. And my brother's right. People may have everything going, but are they connecting? Are they touching the heart? Stone Cold, the Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, even Undertaker.
The Rock.
The Rock. Come on, many different. When The Rock came back and turned heel, beat up, the fact that he got Hurricane over. Hurricane was been over. Hurricane got cemented because of that victory with The Rock. Like you said, it's not all about that. We always say not all about winning losses, like how you losing and how you winning. So you're right.
Like, I'm not a fan of Bret, but Homeboy was over.
Yo, which I couldn't understand low key, because I don't know if you guys have watched this past week's A&E biography. That's tomorrow. But the A&E biography of Bret was done very well. Mm-hmm. And it was done in a sense where you understood, like, when Vince said, when Bret said that Vince told him like he had the most fan mail, he couldn't understand or fathom like what was going on. And at that moment, because that was a clear indication, it was no doubt, like it wasn't an opinion. You had this bulk of mail of fans that wanted to talk and speak to Bret. That was the catalyst for him breaking apart of the Hart Foundation and going on the singles run. So stuff like that, you can equivocate. So, all right, this is how we're measuring your how you're getting to the fans. Now we can put you in a position to now skyrocket you to the top.
But what if it's a situation with Zack Ryder where you are connected with the fans, like you reach a new people, you bring in an audience, and guess what? Nope, you're not that guy. So,
but he's not even nowhere near a GOAT. He would. I'm sorry. Zack Ryder's couldn't even be in GOAT status.
And he was only, and honestly speaking, Zack Ryder was only connecting to those that was essentially watching just the YouTube shit.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't on a bigger platform
me,
where the casual fan was like, "Oh shit, what was this?"
But
Because
Zack
you
Ryder,
had to watch it.
Zack Ryder had the whole New York chain in his name, and Matt eventually wasn't even there. So again, he was doing something right. If they kept on pushing him, he could have been one of the GOATs in WWE.
Yeah, so I think for me, a GOAT would be someone who checks off all the boxes, and no matter their generation, no matter where they are, they can affect someone. They can fuck up your job by accident. You know what I'm saying? Just by doing too good. You know what I'm saying? Like, 50 Cent came out with an album. You didn't hear fucking Freeway's album because 50 Cent dropped his album. You get what I'm saying? Somebody who can affect it by accident. Nobody's doing it on purpose. He just going out there being himself. You know what I'm saying? He checks off all the boxes. His promos is great. His wrestling is great. And he's just being a perfect, solid, good person. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you a question. How come Rusev didn't get over? You know, shout out to Clark Street Wrestling. Because Rusev literally...
I think the thing with WWE is the whole race thing. You know, we already have too much race problems. Then you enter this whole Bulgarian guy. I mean, there's also other ways you can do the race thing. So I think that was the main problem for me. You know, I like Rusev as a wrestler, but the whole character, the Bulgarian brew, and then once he was this, you know, it was just a lot for me, the Russian thing. You know, Russian.
I think we sometimes forget that the cream always rises to the top.
That's about Macho.
Because if I'm gonna give an example. Let's give an example. New Day, for instance. Look where they're at.
True.
Yeah.
Look where they're at.
Yeah.
And we can talk about Zack Ryder, his moments that he had, shit didn't work out. And this is I'm not gonna try to shit on homeboy, but you were there. Was it 10 years he was there?
Yeah.
Just about.
You were there for 10 years. You had your little moment, but you never had another moment.
WrestleMania.
And that was for one day, bro. He got beat the next day, bro.
Guess what? That's still something he could say. Like he had a WrestleMania moment in front of 100,000 people.
But the thing about it is, what else did you have after that? Because we could talk about another example is Miz. Miz is gonna go down as one of the GOATs in the business.
Of course.
Definitely.
Not like the GOAT, but one of the GOATs, like on that like second or third tier.
He's the definition of starting from the legit bottom.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, many times he has dropped and come back up. That says something about how talented you are.
Or Daniel Bryan.
Because we can sit here and be like, yo, he got buried. And that's true. Some people do get buried. But sometimes you get chicken shit and you make a chicken sandwich that tastes absolutely delicious, like Popeyes.
Yeah.
And the New Day did that. They got themselves over.
Yo, remember in the beginning when they had the gospel promo?
Yeah. I hated them.
I hated it.
I loved them.
I hate it.
It literally took them.
I love them.
I could not stand them with the gospel outfits. Like when they did the promos and everything, they would come out. I was like, yo, I cannot stand them.
And I loved it because it was the complete opposite of what people thought they were going to be presented. So like everybody sat there and was like, oh, this is gonna be a new nation and because you know whenever you put niggas together, they gotta automatically be nation. So no, but my whole thing is that people, you know, the streets was talking like they're gonna be the new nation. So when they came out suited and booted with the gospel, I was like, oh, this is low key different, and I can kind of fuck with it.
But I'm gonna give another example is people like, oh, he was buried. All right, cool. You go to another promotion and get more chances, and you're still not the top guy.
True, I agree with you.
Yeah. So one person rest his soul was Luke Harper. He was in WWE. Shit ain't work. I think you know they separated their ways. Rest in peace to him once again. He goes to AEW. What happens?
Comes a man.
Exactly, because talent, and I'm gonna keep going back to the line I originally started this conversation with. The cream always rises to the top. Sometimes you're not that guy, and it's okay. It's okay.
But I think people sometimes forget that in being that guy, you need to also have really, really great supporting characters. And I think sometimes in certain storylines, they don't have the right supporting cast members, which then essentially tanks everything else. Because look, for instance, like for me with Kenny and shit, it's like you got the Good Burgers, you got the Young Bucks, but it's just like all these niggas supporting you, it don't connect for me, so it don't matter.
I understand. I do agree with Janelle. I agree with Janelle 100% because we wouldn't call Eddie Guerrero one of the greatest if he didn't wrestle Chris Benoit and all these other greats. You know?
Okay, that's something you can say because it takes two to tango. But I'll even throw this at that. You, as a superstar, you bring other people up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Prime example.
You bring other people up, and the thing is, you. A diamond is still gonna shine in the dark.
That's a bar.
I give you a prime example. Like, look at the prime example. Look at The Miz. He is what I like to call, like, you could see what he produced from his fruit. The list goes on. He took the B team. He made them the Miz Taraj. They was red hot. They fell important. He took him and Archie was tag teaming together. And guess what? That was a good little thing. When him and Dolph had a series of matches, when on SmackDown, you know, one of the best era of SmackDown 2006, they was killing it because he brought him up. When The Miz was the IC champion, IC was the most important but on Raw. Every match he had, bangers. Him and Shane, that little feud that they had. Yo, The Miz put in that work, and guess what? That was one of the best feuds. Him and Daniel Bryan. Yo, this nigga was retired, and it still was beefing. My brother's right. You also got to do your part. You know, like, you can't, like, at some point, you got to make it easy on the next person, too. He's right.
Because Luke Harper had nobody. There was nobody around him. It was him.
Yeah.
And he made it work. It's at the end of the day, it comes down to you, and I guess things aren't perfect, but then we can talk about Impact's women's champion. She leaves WWE. What is she doing now?
Champion.
She the face of the company.
But doing everything else. You know what I mean? Like Sami Callihan, another person.
I guess it also is the more of the environment too, because I think that's also what everyone always harps over. Sure. Is the fact that, if it's WWE, it's nothing, or if it's AEW, it's nothing, and it's just like certain places for certain people work. So, like, for instance, no, Ricky Starks is a bad example because he works for both.
Kirk Hawkins.
he did work for both.
Like, Kirk Hawkins left WWE, he got fired, and he became Mr. Indie.
Okay, I'll give you that one just a smidge because
I can't even say that. Drew McIntyre.
Yeah,
Bobby Lashley.
Drew was a workhorse in the Indies, low key.
Yeah,
before he got picked back up.
But the thing is, I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, it's you. If you that dude, or that woman, regardless.
And it's always gonna show. But like I think sometimes it's the environment. Sometimes will also
environment
also plays a huge factor because you brought up Deanna. Because when she got cut, I was like, why did y'all let her go? No.
Yeah.
And then because I knew the talent, but it's just like sometimes for the vision and what they, what they're looking for, that person may not be it, but it works in other places. It's just like, it's like
what that's a problem I have. What is it? What is it?
For me, it is.
Yeah, I'm still talking. A lot of people always say, "Yo, they don't have it." I just gotta know what is it.
You connect with it. That's it.
It is when, guess what? It is when you do something and 20 years later they still talking about it.
Okay, got you.
That's what it is.
It is when you get on screen, you go, "I gotta watch this." You don't even gotta say nothing.
It is when you get in the middle of the ring and you don't say anything and the crowd reacts.
Okay.
But then again, what if
you're a natural standout?
But then again, what if you see? And now I'll also agree with Kofi a little bit too, because what if you're just ahead of your time? Because there've been wrestlers, entertainers throughout the whole years been ahead of their time, and then 20 years back, we look back on it like, oh nah, he was fire, man. This, that, and third. Like, prime example, you know, shout out to one of the GOATs, Soulja Boy. Yo, he was ahead of his time with all this dancing stuff, internet, and now during that they roasted him. Now look like, oh nah, Soulja Boy was the man.
Yeah.
So what is like he said? What?
But most of the people that shit on, like, for instance, like Soulja Boy, are the people that did not grow up with that, so they don't know. So their ignorance is what's going to affect how they look at the person.
Nah. You can't say that, you know, because if you remember when Soulja Boy was making his dance music, who was saying I'm crapping on him? Every hip hop OG was like, that's not hip hop, blah blah blah, crapping on him. The same dudes who's crapping on him, all these hip hop OGs, are now making dances to their songs to stay relevant.
No, but I wouldn't use Soulja because Soulja was popping. He sold millions of records. He sold millions of ringtones. Okay.
So fine.
The only person I can think of right now is Amazing Red. Because everything that he did in it when he came into the industry, people are doing now.
Okay. Or so, like I agree, but like even though that he did so was millions,
literally everything that with the good and the bad that he came into the industry with, everybody's using. His entire moveset is half of the indies.
But Amazing prime example. Like, but if you watch his stuff, he never got a real run. You understand? So
that's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah,
I would only say that's a person that was ahead of his time.
You would say like, he had it.
Yeah.
But the thing about it, and he's one of my GOATs, but his mic skills wasn't that great, so that hurt him.
Yeah, I agree.
So that hurt him. Having that is having the complete package, but it's not in the ring. It's having that presence and having the ability to entertain and connect with people.
And also kind of having the ability to cross over to people that are casual fans and hardcore fans too. I think that also plays a role in how, you know, that level of like having it, because like if you can have if Pop is over there talking about fucking Roman, and that's the first time you done seen that nigga, something about him, he got it because now someone that never saw him is talking about him. So you gotta kind of it's a weird. I'm glad you had actually asked that because I feel like at times we what was that one?
Canyon and Nova. I don't know.
Canyon had a lot. Personally, he had a lot of shit going on, and I think that's.
I didn't like Canyon. Canyon
was.
And I felt like
we talking about Chris Canyon.
Yeah, I think so. If that's the person he's talking about, whoever said that.
Chris Canyon was nice. He was a low-key indie darling. But the problem is that mentally he was fucked because of his sexuality.
A lot of personal stuff I think affected how that.
Yeah, that's what he wasn't WWE though.
Can people telling you have it and you really don't have it, can that affect you?
Of course.
That's
a build. That's like everybody.
Everybody's supposed to have it. That's one thing I do like about WWE. They keep shit a little funky. Hey, you're fucking trash. Bye. You know what I mean? I do like it. I don't mind it. Some people, people get fired. I understand it. I've got fired many a time.
Me too.
So when people, they say, like, oh, he has it. Because I've been told, oh, you got it, man. I've scored fucking 44 points a game, every game. Oh, you got it. But I didn't have it to play in the big league. You get what I'm saying?
Fucking Kenny had it.
So I just don't understand. Does that mess up a lot of people's careers too? Like being told that you have it and you really just a regular guy.
So I'll say it like this: people have it because they're a big fish in a small pond. And this is something that I've said numerous times. I've said on the last episode. Actually, Triple H said this too. You'll be that guy in NXT. You'll be the man. You would be that guy, but then you go up to the flagship roster. You're no longer that guy. There's other guys just like you there. you have to now you got to level up. Life is about leveling up, and a lot of sometimes people have done it, you get comfortable. You get comfortable because you did have it in that particular space. Now you move to another space, and you got to level up who you are.
Nobody involves the it because everybody
speak about basketball. You speak about basketball. You a high school player. You dropping 40, 10, and fucking 5 a game. You just killing people. But you think when you go to college, that bigger pond, there's not gonna be. There's not gonna be.
I was just ready.
Just like you. Yeah, and that's the same because I think Vince McMahon told that to AJ, or was it AJ? I could be wrong. He was like, "I have a bunch of you here already."
It wasn't AJ. It wasn't.
Well, it was either AJ or Ricochet. Somebody. It was like, "Yo, I have a bunch of you here already."
Probably Booty Warrior. Probably.
But I have a bunch of you guys here already. So I don't need that. Show me who you are. That's what the brand got to get bigger. Some people get comfortable.
But I think it also is a test to when people try to shoot down. Like, remember when it was heard that Keith was going back down to train and people were in an uproar, like, oh my God, no, what do you mean? But it's just like, if they see a smidge of an it, they're gonna tell you, like, okay, listen, this can be something, but you still gotta work. It's always gonna be a work in progress. And at times we forget that, you know, if it's the same old shit, that's why we're upset. So if you build and you do something different upon that, it keeps leveling you up as a person. It goes back to you talking about Chris Jericho. Literally every stage of Jericho was a level up. It wasn't something that was very constant. It was always something that was very different to the character. Even goes to even really Taker in a certain extent. When he had his different eras, different types of Takers, it was always a smidge level that was high. Something was always a level up than it was previously. So it's like
you speak about Taker. Taker said it himself. He's like, when I came back, I couldn't come back to the Attitude Era as this Phenom Undertaker thing because it was more realistic. It was an era about realism, which later goes into the Ruthless Aggression. It was more about realism. So I can't be this Phenom type of dude because it doesn't make sense for this particular time. So I have to switch things up.
But then again, it all goes back to always knowing when to evolve your character. People get on Stone Cold because he turned heel at WrestleMania. But people do forget the key person that was supposed to help him stay relevant as a heel got injured was Triple H. People fail to realize that key component. And what happened? It was just like they had to do something different. So everybody do evolve their character over time, but the Grace does that. And my brother mentioned about being the big fish in a small pond, right? The thing about it is when you get to that high school level of being the big fish, like when you get to the high school level, the college level in basketball, people still train as if they are in high school. That's the problem. You understand? Nobody seems to evolve themselves overall. Like my brother said, even though that Bray was over with the fans, he had to evolve his character because he had to understand if for me to stay in the WWE, I gotta present a different product that I usually was presenting. He took everything that had been saying about him and made a puppet show. Really? Fire.
Oh, it knocked me out. I was like,
oh wow.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it's different. But I think we'll move on because we don't have much time left.
Yeah. So since we are towards the end of what we got going on here, this week in wrestling, let's talk about it real quick, and then we're gonna get into some NXT predictions. Since once again, NXT in your house is this Sunday.
Like I gotta say this. I feel like nobody has given the New Day credit with their gear. Y'all all been complimenting, Seth and all these who call them the drip. The New Day is the official drip people because they're in ring, how they're able to just incorporate media and everything. unbelievable. Nobody
all they
shout
get
out
from
to
day one.
exactly.
All they get from day one, man.
Shout out to my son Johnny Wrestling on NXT. Give him credit too for always innovating his ring gear, man. Like to me, those are my drips, man. Like yeah, Seth made little suits and all that. Anybody can wear a suit, but when you can incorporate different stuff, Seth also got the drip in the ring too. But to me, it's just like suits ain't nothing. Your in-ring gear work is something that when you have Jason Frank comment on your gear, come on, dogs. Come on. I just had to say that. But like, yeah, this week in wrestling, dogs. Oh, the Miz.
Mr. Kofi, what clips did you see this week? Because clearly your ass don't watch through and through.
I don't even think I watched. I was in the hospital one day, so I did not watch.
Oh yeah. Sorry to hear that. Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's a long story. I explained also on camera.
He's got to drink water. You got to drink water.
I just got to drink more water, man. That's basically it.
Get your life together. You know you about 2 pounds. Don't do that to yourself.
I am.
Like, come on. You knew better than that. Listen, have water and have a chocolate bar on standby at all times.
Oh, man.
I don't want a chocolate bar.
I don't even need chocolate. That's
or
what makes
something
it bad.
sweet, something that will help the blood sugar, your sugar level come up if it goes all the way down. But anyway, what did you guys think about Raw was Raw? Everybody bitched and moaned about that end, and I actually was tuned in. I was like this, like, is Shayna gonna turn the corner and somebody gonna snatch her? Like I was invested.
The whole Shayna thing is Bobby said it on Renee podcast. He said Vince would do certain stuff to loosen you up because Vince low-key's remind everybody that I'm going to use you though, but you too serious. And for me to actually like understand this is still entertainment. And you may complain that she getting is a stupid angle, but she was 2 women main event closing out Raw. You understand? And just like Janelle and everyone saying that people made a big deal about Bianca Belair being on main event, but Bianca need training to get better. And Shayna is too serious. Like she was too. Shayna had to evolve her character to be on the main roster. So to me, even though like, okay, from a wrestling standpoint, if it was pure wrestling, if I was Jim Cornette, it's terrible. But for a guy that who been watching WWE since I was little, it was entertaining.
For me, I'm entertained by little different segments like that, like the whole Bray Wyatt segments and the Alexa Bliss segments. Those segments entertain me because we don't see them much anymore. You don't have the Undertaker and the Kane segments, or Bray Wyatt's not really there too much. So when you do get these little segments, I'm actually excited to see them. I'm actually, it's cool. We got something way different. So, you know, I'm fine with the Shayna Baszler and Alexa Bliss.
And also, shout outs to the camera production team.
I love the camera.
That camera angle for when Shayna put her foot down on Lily, and that camera came up and looked from her from the you would have thought the man was on the floor with the camera. Like that's how well, but no, that's how well. Like I was sitting. I was like, that's how well done this was produced. Like I was excited. I'm all about production value.
I'm asking you guys a question. Real quick. We reach a point where I gotta ask you guys a real honest question. What is wrestling? Like honestly, because at this point, is everybody has so many different meanings. So to 3 of y'all, what do you define wrestling is?
Oh man, I'm gonna answer it with one word: entertainment.
Okay,
it is one of the best forms of entertainment for me, man.
What is wrestling for me? It's an escape, to be honest, and that's why I like the whole reading rumors and dirt sheets thing. I don't do because the tag team battle royal. Even though I didn't really want Viking Raiders to win, but okay, that's okay. I didn't. Like I was
the Viking Raiders.
I was like, right before they went off TV, they were the champs, and then they had to take the belts off because one of them was going off TV. But anyway, no, for me, wrestling is an escape. So it's like it's a different world where, yeah, you can have a right or wrong, but like you can still have an opinion about it, and it still be fun and exciting. So I would say, in one word, I would say escape.
What about you, Wilkins?
Wrestling is love, dude.
All you need is love.
That is true.
But to talk about NXT, I think NXT this past week was. I've said this before. I've tweeted about this. NXT has the best wrestling on television.
Legit.
Legit has the best wrestling.
I can see why you feel that way.
On television.
That was probably one of the best go home episodes because sometimes they struggle on that right before the pay-per-view episode. Sometimes they want to get everybody's shit in. But this was, to me, the one time where they got all the shit in and it all made sense in 2 hours. I was just
the ladder that came from the roof? Oh, my gosh.
I've been saying for weeks, the shit Cameron Grimes and Ted DiBiase's been doing is phenomenal. And then it all culminated to him bringing back the $1 million belt, which I didn't even see coming. Like, I was like, oh, shit. We're really doing this.
Fire.
I love it.
So we got a lot. So we might as well go into some predictions. So
LA Knight. Yo.
Eli Drake. It's a trash name. It's a trash name.
Eli Drake, like I haven't seen him since Impact.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened to him.
Okay.
But this dude, LA Knight, his name is fire. It's old school, B. Like
it sounds, I told y'all, it sounds like the SFL team. It's trash.
No, but
it sounds like he's giving me a sentence. And he just stops it. He's like, LA Knight. And then I'm like, LA Knight. LA Knight.
I mean, I think that's
my name.
That's the purpose of, I think that's the purpose of a noun, though. The purpose is to start it. Like,
so do you think that LA Knight is gonna evolve to a name like how Triple H before was Hunter Hearst Helmsley, now it's down to Triple H? You think the LA, like later on, he might say LA Knight stands for something? Or
unless he wants to turn into like Bobby Roode and then be on some like my name is Lawrence Alexander, like if he's like MJF type of shit, which I don't see happening. So but who do you guys think will win the ladder match? We might as well get into predictions so we can close off. So you have for the $1 million belt, you have Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight. Who do you guys have winning?
I'm going straight to the moon.
To the moon. I love Cameron Grimes. Like, I love him.
Gotta go straight to the moon.
I loved him when he was Trevor Lee.
Trevor Lee. I did like him when he was Trevor Lee.
I have to say LA Knight. I feel that Cameron Grimes winning it would just end the feud too quickly. And I really want this feud to continue because I want I'm just being greedy. I want seconds. So LA Knight for me.
Well, you may have seconds sometimes if he wins. Let's see what else. Ooh, I thought the way that they flipped this was really cool. You have on one side MSK, and this is when I realized, Mr. Black, that we win points regardless of who wins. Because we got two people on each side. So you got MSK, who are the NXT Tag Team Champions, and I almost called him Brodus Clay, Jesus Christ. Bronson Reed. So you got the champs on one side versus
Gato El Fantasmo.
There you go. But it's a winner takes all match. So will we have new NXT tag champs and North American champ, or will they retain? Who do you guys have?
Pick for me. No matter.
Oh, it don't matter.
Both ways.
I would anyway. I don't care. I mean, I would actually like to see
the marijuana smoking kids. Yeah, me too.
No. The Spanish guys win because
you're Spanish,
No, because I just see a better storyline happening with the belts on them. Not Brodus. I almost said it. I was like. Like, no, that ain't it. Who do you guys have, though?
I got Gato El Fantasmo, man. I liked him since Fantasmo when he was in Impact Wrestling. I like him, so I like his whole ride so far. I do like Joaquin. You know what I'm saying? Watch that right there. I like him. So, I've always liked those guys when they came to NXT. I was a fan. So I gotta go with them, man. I gotta go the Spanish Escobar, man. Gotta go.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. The Latino World Order is over there.
That's it, man. I gotta go.
I'm with y'all on that one. Me too. I want them to win. It gives MSK something to chase.
Right.
Like have them start chasing something, They got a little run with the title, and I'll put them to be the chasers of the title. And like Clark Street Wrestling just said, that match could steal the show.
They put them on.
Possibly. What's crazy is because I feel like every match is just like
showstopper.
Because in all honesty, I was like, listen, this whole Raquel versus Ember that just popped out of nowhere, and now I'm low-key invested. Like, I'm like, what's gonna happen? So you got the NXT Women's Champion Raquel Gonzalez versus Ember Moon.
I don't see Ember getting the title.
Yeah, me either.
Ember's getting fed. Ember's getting fed right now.
Yeah, I think Ember doesn't. I think with me, they're like Raquel Gonzalez now. Ember, you have time.
I mean, side, it's kind of like you need Ember Moon is a veteran, so Raquel Gonzalez beat up. Mind you, she's a former champion, had a long lengthy reign.
Incredible challenger.
Yes. So it adds a notch to her reign, and Amber's not gonna win because Amber, she'll need to win. Not yet, baby girl. Not yet.
I actually really liked her with the tag with Shotzi, but
yeah, it was good.
Who else is before we get to the main event?
We got Xia Li.
Versus which I said maybe like 2 episodes ago. The way she approached that girl was the longest storytelling I've seen in a long time. This bitch pulled up 4 years ago at the Mae Young Classic. I was like, damn.
I'm not gonna lie. For me, when they showed that Tuesday, I was actually surprised because I didn't know about it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh,
they must have played it again.
And when they brought the storyline back and all that, I was like, oh, they're giving Xia Li something way better to do. They're giving her at least somebody credible, somebody hard-hitting, somebody tough. That's really hard to beat because Xia Li's been walking every female that's in her past so far. So they're giving her something and a good challenger. It doesn't even matter.
Is she gonna?
Doesn't matter if Martinez. Xia Li's gonna win. Why would they put her against Martinez? She lost a match and then she won 2 matches, so she's gonna lose.
All right, what y'all think?
I'm gonna go Xia Li.
I'm going for Martinez.
Mr. Black.
I go with Xia Li.
All right, I'm probably gonna go for Mercedes only because they teeter around her in that title picture, so it's just like it could go either way, but I feel like Martinez might take the go. What other before we get to the star attraction that I thought they did?
That Timothy Thatcher.
So Tim and whatchamacallit as a tag team.
Ciampa.
It's like
Ciampa.
It's giving me it's giving me bar vibes because it's definitely those 2 that you never thought would tag because they was just in your favorite Lions Den match not too long ago, and they now they tag team now, so they going against Oni.
Grizzly Young Veterans.
Oh, Grizzly Young Veterans, which I like too. Yeah, I actually
like them.
Tight they didn't win the Dusty tag team. I thought they should have won.
I felt they should have won too. I felt they was wrong 2 years in a row.
I do, because the MSK winning threw me off, but now looking back, the win was to help them get introduced to the NXT crowd. So I understood after the fact. I was like, why did they win? Yeah. They just got here. But so who do you guys have? Grizzly Young Veterans or the unique tag team of Tim and Ciampa?
For me, I'm not gonna pick a match. This is probably gonna be my match of the night because I love these old guys, and I do love the Grizzly Young Veterans. So I don't care who wins this match. I like them both.
I think the Grizzly Young Veterans take the lead. Take this one.
I gotta go with Ciampa because they probably need some kind of momentum, or if it's just like a one-time match doing, then I see Ciampa them winning. But if it's like a series of matches going to escalate to something like bigger or the first ever tag team Lions Den match, then I want the Grizzly Young Vets to win.
This one, we gotta feed him a Lions Den match every other year. Every other year, we gotta have it.
AEW's gonna do one, so I can't wait.
So I forgot the name of the shit on NXT that keeps popping up. That commercial.
Diamond
Mine or something.
Diamond Mine.
Mm-hmm. That might be a little your little Lions Den thing, because I feel like it's a take on Raw Underground and a mixture of some other shit. So I don't know, but it keeps saying coming soon, so it's coming. Yeah. Any last matches you can think of before we get to the V match of the?
That's the last match. Is the last match.
So we have and they know I hate when it's mad niggas in one ring. I can't do it, but this time I'm signed up. You have the NXT Championship. You got the champion Killer Cross is what I typically call him, versus Pete Dunne versus
Adam Cole.
I wanted to leave Adam Cole, baby, last, but Adam Cole. Okay. You have Kyle O'Reilly, and you got Johnny Gargano in the Fatal 5-Way for the NXT title.
Match is gonna be a banger, bro.
That really, it should have that should have been a ladder match, in all honesty. But do you have Killer Cross? You have Killer Cross retaining, or will we have a new NXT champion?
Nah, Killer Cross everybody.
I see Killer Cross retaining. For me, I see Killer Cross retaining, and Pete Dunne taking
the biggest person in there.
Pete Dunne taking a pin from anybody. Doesn't matter. Pete Dunne's gonna take the pin.
So, I think Adam Cole will win.
And Adam Cole gain? I'm like, what does Adam Cole gain?
I think because it's the whole like this is my destiny, this is my legacy, this is NXT is Adam Cole kind of thing. And I only say that because there's something that's sticking at me that I feel like they're gonna pull Killer somewhere else very soon. So I feel like they gotta get the belt off him sooner than later. But I wouldn't be surprised if he won. But I just feel like the rumbles I've heard, I was like, they may pull him up. So
I mean, that's a good way to get him. That's a good way for him to not lose his credibility, because that's why it's good for these multi-man matches, because the champion don't have to get pinned.
Correct. And if Adam Cole wins, I don't see Killer being the pin. I do see either pin or I either see Pete or Johnny.
Yeah.
What's the name of the match? Not Roger Strong.
Pete Dunne.
Not Pete Dunne. His man's. I was in the
Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah, is he in the match?
Yeah.
So he might pin Kyle O'Reilly.
Okay, that's another way.
I can see Adam Cole.
But for me, Adam Cole is up there. Plus, he was popping wild shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna see you backstage.
Yo, but here's the
thing. That was real.
My man had the camera. He did the promo on the screen. Then he came out and super kicked everybody. And then if you watch on WWE's YouTube page, which I highly recommend, they had the exclusive where he was still popping mad shit behind Gorilla. So I was just like, this guy here, we can't put nothing past him. And the mic skills and the promo skills is just, that's why I always joke and I say Britt and him must be practicing at home together, because I just be like, whoa.
You imagine a argument?
Oh man.
What are you talking about? You don't belong here. You left the damn it.
Mad dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
But any last words this week in wrestling before we go out? Anything in particular?
You have Impact Wrestling.
Oh, Impact is that's this weekend too. Where what you call it? Kenny versus Moose for the Impact World Title is happening. That is official.
Yes, but the thing about it is, I just watched the summit. It says it's going to happen at Daly's place.
The match?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then
in front of people?
Listen, I don't know. Okay, like I can't go that far in. And they said since Sami Callihan pinned Moose, whoever wins that match on Saturday is going to face Sami at Slammiversary.
Yeah.
Oh, so Moose might win.
I don't see Moose winning. Now with those stipulations, I don't see Moose winning, because they've been trying to put that belt on Sami Callihan for a while.
No, but then I don't see Sami pinning Kenny.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. I don't either.
Kenny's not going to lose.
I strong possibility Moose might win, because Who, was it you that said it? Somebody was like, "Yo, what if they position where Kenny started losing all the belts? Then what? Then what happens? Because he still has that AAA match in Mexico against Andrade, and I see Andrade winning that title.
I don't see it.
I see a trickle. Once he loses that title, then he's gonna lose another.
He's gonna lose another one. He's gonna lose another one.
I see that's a good way.
But for me, he's trying to solidify himself.
Yeah, but that's a good way to get rid of a storyline. Once it's become long and drawn out, now we got Kenny's already out the range, whatever you want to call it. It's already a long, drawn out thing. You don't have many more titles to go get. It's not many more places to go. You know what I'm saying? Let these people have their titles back for their companies. Doors are opening. It's great that you kept them for us. Thank you, but let us have them back and go on about your business. That's how I feel, you know?
Yeah. So we shall see. But Mr. Weedston, thank you for joining us on this evening's episode.
Man, I love you, man. I love you guys.
Love
you guys, man.
Before my guy Kofi Winston go, you have to understand, me and Dirty Heelz be killing it at the Indies event.
Yes.
We having the crowd.
Gotta come, man. Gotta come, man.
Son, next time.
I'm gonna be honest. Our quick story. A lot of people don't know. I met you guys at an indie event. You know, we were going to indie events on a fucking regular, man. Just what we did. We didn't want to be on the block, so we love y'all. This is real talk, man. This is like, you know,
I would
we didn't feel like we were on the block, man. So we would go to these indie wrestling shows, man. And we definitely appreciate y'all for just accepting us with open arms, man. That's it, man. We love y'all, man. We appreciate y'all, man. You know, it's not many of us.
No, we appreciate you guys as well. Because it's
man.
all about sticking together, and you know, there's power in numbers. So as always, if you guys ever need anything, you put the bat signal up. Don't be afraid to ask. We're all here to help each other
we love you guys.
to grow and to take it to the next level. So let the viewers and listeners know where to find you guys and all of your episodes and all that jazz.
All right, once again, if you want to see all our episodes, we drop one every single Wednesday, man. You can catch us on YouTube at Dirty Heelz Podcast. If you want regular information, local information, whatever, Monday through Fridays, man, you go to Dirty Heelz _132 on IG. And you don't get my information. You get Good Brothers. Don't add me. Yeah, I don't accept. Was it
funny? Because that sounds like me. I always have like, listen, you can add the boys, don't add me.
Yeah, I don't like the separate friend request. I'm cool with you. Just don't follow my family, you know? But then I understand it because my page looks like a podcast page now. So I try not to post anything now.
My man said, I'm just going to take it all away now.
So before we go, got a little church announcement. Please, this week on the Jobbertears Network, please, a new episode of Sasson Talk.
One of my favorite episodes, by the way. Didn't mean to cut you off. But
please check
it's one of my faves.
Out. Sasson Talk, your sports. And very good stuff we doing out here. And please look out for Wilkins Coffee Talk, man. And if you support the brand, man, you support Dirty Heelz, man. You know, you can find our t-shirts at prowrestlingtees.com and cash out and please buy our merch, man. Support the people that you love. And to anyone else, man, to find us personally, description down below on YouTube, Instagram. Wow, I'm tired, y'all. YouTube, however you listen to consuming this, all our information is literally down below. And I'm too tired. Yeah,
it's fine. We'll be back at Legends for Hell in a Cell, so make sure to RSVP for that. And then Jobber Slam, July 31st.
Let's go.
Location to be announced shortly. Some more matches to be announced shortly. So just make sure to stay tuned for that. Matches. But make sure to save the date. Saturday, July 31st, Jobber Slam. It is happening. Where you have Tasha Steele's Impact, half of the Impact Tag Team Women Knockout Tag Team Champion going against Big Swole of AEW. And then you have the debut of Sir Wilkins versus Simon Miller of Woke Culture. First time. Hopefully not the last time. Because somebody's talking about grand opening, grand closing. And I was like, yeah, right. But super proud. We got a lot of more things, matches to announce, and a lot more things to talk about. So just stay tuned. Every week we're gonna drop some more.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're interested in sponsoring, becoming a sponsor, be a part of the show. The show will not be anything without you guys. So if you guys are interested in sponsoring, please, you can message me directly. This is the one time I'm going to say you can talk to me directly. Or you can DM the Jobbertears podcast Instagram page for more information. As always, I'm Janelle from HR. Thank you to one half of the Dirty Heels. I think it's the better heel. But, you know,
Don't disrespect good brother.
Because
I'm actually the worst one.
No, but tell him it's because he ain't show up. Birthday or not.
I got you. It's his birthday.
Well, happy birthday, good brother. I owe you a Henny shot, I promise. And you know I'm a woman of my word. But thank you to the Dirty Heels team that's always been supportive of the Jobbertears podcast, and we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Thank you guys so much. As always, I'm Janelle from HR here with Sir Wilkins and Mrblacc. # Black Excellence. # we are out.
I was over, got the hands in motion. If you go with rolling, no need to focus. Traveling states and over oceans. You gotta wait till your coast chosen. Trying to have lines outside the show like Harry Potter releases at Barnes & Noble.